Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki
Jai.
Shri Ramachandra Bhagavan ki
Jai.
Jai Gaur Premanande. So, Igorji Prabhu, can you give me the 9th canto? Thank you. So today we are reading from the Canto 9, chapter 11, verse 17. Enjoy. Okay. Oui. Alors. Voilà. Bon. Allez, Krishna. Good? Everybody can see? Okay. So. Stripum prasanga itadri.
Stripum prasanga itadri.
Sarvatra trashamavaha.
Sarvatra samavaha.
Ishvaranam kimuta.
Ishvaranam kimuta.
Gramyasya griyachitasa.
Gramyasya griyachitasa.
Stripum prasanga itadri.
Stripum prasanga itadri.
Sarvatra samavaha.
Sarvatra samavaha.
Ishvaranam kimuta.
Ishvaranam kimuta.
Gramyasya griyachitasa.
Gramyasya griyachitasa.
Stripum prasanga itadri.
Stripum prasanga itadri.
Sarvatra samavaha.
Sarvatra samavaha.
Ishvaranam kimuta.
Ishvaranam kimuta.
Yasya grihachitasa.
Gramyasya griyachitasa.
Vishnavas.
Stripum prasanga etadri.
Stripum prasanga itadri.
Sarvatra samavaha. Apishvaranam kimuta.
Ishvaranam kimuta.
Gramyasya griyachetasa.
Gramyasya grihachitasa.
Stripum prasanga etadri.
Stripum prasanga etadri.
Sarvatra samavaha.
Sarvatra samavaha.
Smaranam kimuta.
Apishvaranam kimuta.
Gramashya griha chetasa.
Gramyasya
grihachitasa. Vishnavis. One try.
Stripum prasanga etadri.
Stripum prasanga itadri.
Sarvatra samavaha.
Sarvatra samavaha. Abhishvaranam kimuta.
Ramesya grihachetasa.
Yasya grihachetasa. Okay, translation. Word by word. Stripum prasanga.
Stripum prasanga.
Attraction between husband and wife, man and woman. Itadrik, like this. Shri Radha Subhadra Mahani Jai Suchisuta Bhagavan ki Sarvatra, everywhere. Prashamagam, the cause of fear. Happy, even. Ishvaranam of controllers. Kimuta,
Kimuta,
to speak of.
and what to speak of,
Gramyasya,
Gramyasya,
of ordinary man,
although ordinary man,
this material world.
of this material world,
Yachitasa,
Yachitasa,
who are attached
who are attached
to materialistic household life.
to materialistic
household life.
Translation by His Divine Grace, Abhay Shranaravinda, Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The attraction between man and woman, or male and female, always exists everywhere, making everyone always fearful. Such feelings are present even amongst the controllers like Brahma and Lord Shiva, and is the cause of fear even for them. What to speak of others who are attached to household life in this material world? Report. As plain above, when the feeling of love and transcendental bliss from the spiritual world are pervertedly reflected in this material world, they are certainly the cause of bondage. As long as men feel attracted to women in this material world and women feel attracted to men, the bondage of repeated birth and death will continue. In the spiritual world, where there is no fear of birth and death, such feelings of separation are the cause of transcendental bliss. In the absolute reality, there are varieties of feeling, but all of them are of the same quality of transcendental bliss. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Just repeat the verse one more time. The attraction between man and woman, or male or female, always exists everywhere, making everyone always fearful. Such feelings are present even among the controller like Brahma and Lord Shiva, and is the cause of fear for them. Or to speak of others who are attached to household life in this material world. So, this is my gratitude to have been invited to speak on the Srimad Bhagavatam on this wonderful verse, which is warning us about bondage between men and female, and it's warning us that even great devotees like Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, despite their advancement, are also careful about that. Therefore, only really advanced and special empowered devotees can say that they have overcome sex desires. One time Prabhupada was surrounded by many people in India, and people were glorifying him, worshipping him, and the devotees, the disciples, they asked Prabhupada, why everybody is glorifying you in such a way, and why do they love you? Why are you so attractive? Prabhupada said, because I have conquered sex desire. So, in the opposite, from time to time, Prabhupada will pray to the deities to not be entangled. Sometimes, one disciple came to him and asked, Prabhupada, you were crying in front of the deities. What did you pray for? And Prabhupada simply said, I pray to stay Krishna conscious, to not be entangled in Maya. So, there is always a place for humility in the Vaishnava behavior, to allow himself being careful about sex desires. One who is proud will think that he has conquered sex desires, and he will be prey for fall down. In the Bhagavatam, we have many examples of fall down from pious people, advanced devotees, yogis, different sorts of spiritualists who fall down because of sex desires. Someone may wonder, why is the Bhagavatam putting so much emphasis on this? Why does it look like attraction between men and women is such a nasty thing, such a topic important. It's just because we have to be honest with ourselves. We don't believe really sex desire to be an impediment. We rather would like to appreciate sex desire. We would rather think that attraction between man and woman is not such a big thing. It's actually part of life. It actually can be a great asset. So it's true, but overall, Bhagavatam is trying to warn any sincere devotees that sex desire is not meant to be idealized. Sex desire is super dangerous and you should fear that. So why are Brahma and Lord Shiva feeling sex desire? Because sex desire is the cause of samsara. Because sex desire produces so much pleasure, then I'm attached to it. And at the time of death, I may think about that, or at least at the person which provides me such pleasure. And therefore, Antakale Chanamevan Sanamudlakarivaram, I may take birth again. Or let's say that Krishna says, Patam Pushpam Phalam Toyam Yori Bhaktya Prayachati. Whatever you offer to me, it has to be with love. This is what I am accepting. But let's say I'm thinking about Krishna and at the same time I'm thinking about sex desire. If I'm thinking about Krishna with mixed motivation, then how could I say my thought of Krishna at the time of death are filled with love? Krishna is not accepting the thought per se, he's accepting the intention behind the thought at the time of death. So if I'm not thinking about Krishna with love, then I will finish like a Kamsa, basically. I will be purified, yes, but I will have to take birth again. Because this is what happened. Kamsa was always thinking about Krishna, even at the time of death, but it was not favorable. So it was not sufficient for him to attain the spiritual body. Similarly, if I'm filled with material attachment, even though I may be conditioned to think about Krishna at the time of death, I may not be sincere and I will have maybe mixed material desires. So Bhagavatam is there to convince us that sex desire is not such a big thing, you know. And you should not think that this material pleasure is so serious and so marvelous that you have to spend time, energy on it, so much so that your spiritual life becomes slack. So we believe, even though we may hear so many times, women, they are dangerous, men are dangerous. The purport of Kapila Dev, in the verses of Kapila Dev towards devotee, says, men are Maya for women. It's not just like women are Maya. We are Maya for you. And it's vice versa. The principle is not about women, the principle is not about men, the principle is about material attraction. And finding pleasure so independently from Krishna. Finding Kamabindu. We call that Kamabindu. It's like a drop of happiness. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he compares that in Chaitanya Charitamrita as the pleasure of a drowning man. So you put the head of someone in the water, and then you relieve him for some time, and this is sort of relief. And then you plunge it again. And we call that happiness. And sex desire is like that. Prabhupada compares that often as the itching sensation, you know. Then you itch yourself and it becomes even more hurting. And today's modern Western society is advocating not Kamabindu, not regulated sex desire, but kamasindu. You have to plunge into sex desire. It's a topic that woman is advertised everywhere, or sensuality is advertised everywhere to sell a product. Basically, when Prabhupada was going into New York and he will see the big skyscraper, he will say, "Oh, the women are very beautiful there," because he understands that behind economic development is the impetus of sex desire, the impetus of I want to enjoy in the best facilities what's everything around what is sex. So Maharaj says, Matirna Krishna Paratos Vatova, Mitho Vibhadyeta Gyavratanam, Adanta Gobir Vishatam Tamishram, Punashtavita Charvadanam. You know this verse, it's one of the favorite verse of Krishna. It's Prahlad Maharaj says to his father that those who have done Griyavrata, the vow to enjoy the household life, then they are in Adanta Gobi. It's like a veil of misery. Because they are into Tamishra, deep ignorance. And because they are so much in the bodily concept of life, then they fear death. And therefore they feel separation as well. In this chapter of Bhagavatam, Ramachandra is grieving for the separation of Mother Sita. But it's out of love, because Ramachandra Bhagavan is controlled by his devotees' love. And in our today's verse, people are grieving for separation, not because of eternal and unconditional love, because they miss out sex pleasure, they miss out the sweet words of our spouse, who makes us feel greater than we are, and all the facilities that a household life can bring. And because we are such intimately attached to the body of each another, then we may forget about spiritual life and consider that life is all material. Life is meant to enjoy sex here and now and do it as much as possible before you die. So Charvaka Muni will say the goal of life is to eat as much as ghee as you can. And similarly, in modern society, people, they think that you have to do as much sex as long as you are young, as long as you are not married, as long as, even if you're married anyway, you can try to exploit each other, you know. And if it's not enough, we have porn for you. There's so much porn available on the internet that even if your wife is not good enough to satisfy you sexually, you can go on porn, and we have even robots who can do the job, you know, for you. It's going on in Japan. You may have, I've maybe almost 10 years ago, I've seen a documentary about sex pleasure in Japan. So in Japan, the culture is like, it's not a problem to see a prostitute if you are married. Because the culture in Japan is that my husband has to be satisfied. If I cannot satisfy him, let him go. So sex is not a big thing for them. Let them go. And if I cannot find a prostitute, let them go to see robots. Let them go to see film. Let them go to enjoy porn, like that. But this itching sensation of the sex desire becomes so addictive that people, they crave for it at any moment. And because sex pleasure is such a temporary thing that the minute after having experienced it, then either you want more, either you want something else, either you didn't have what you were expecting. Because now we have so much expectation. We have build such a fantasy around sex desire because of the advertisement, the industry, that we imagine such a fairy tale. And when it happens, then we have such distorted and perverted desires that we harm each other, that we use and exploit each other. And finally, we understand that it's not about love. We understand that what I was looking for is not about, it's not sex desire. Actually, I need something deeper. So, Paramahansa says, those who are so addicted to sex desire, even if you try so much to preach to them, even if they try to do something, if they are still attached, nothing can help them. Nothing. So sex desire is like a trap door, you know. As long as you have that, it's impossible. Impossible. It's like a brake, you know. Try to drive on the high road with a brake, you just end up making, you know, smoking the tire. That's all. And you may hurt others and do an accident. So that's what's happening to devotees who may entertain the vision of advancing in spiritual life while maintaining little thing, you know, little enjoyment. Because, you know, there is this story that my spiritual master always tells about, that there is someone who is on the roof and he's walking on the roof, and then he slips off from the roof, and then he just grabs on the edge of the roof and he says, "Oh Krishna, help me, help me." And someone, a voice in the sky starts to say, "Okay, I'm there to help you, but you have to let off from the roof." The person says, "Oh, but it's so high. Can you not take me first, and then I can let go myself from the roof?" So this is our position, you know. Basically, in this material world, we have to let go, and then we experience the mercy of Krishna. If you want to experience the taste of Krishna, you have to let go first. But we want to experience, while maintaining material desires, the bliss of bhakti. But it's not working like that. If you want to experience the bliss of bhakti, you have also to commit and to surrender some things, your sex material desires. But what we want is, we want Krishna to give us the insurance that I will be so happy in bhakti, and then after I can start to remove our material desires. Krishna is not such a fool that he will oblige you to keep both. He is someone intelligent. Therefore, if you keep continuing satisfying yourself with material desire and it slows down your relationship with him, he will force you to surrender. So Krishna is inviting us to surrender our material desires, and by doing so we will experience the bliss of service, the bliss of bhakti. But if we plan, because Krishna, we don't trust him so much, to hold both material pleasure and spiritual pleasure, then, you know, it's like to be 1 foot in one boat each. If the boat, they go in opposite direction, then you end up in the water, basically. So that's the life of a neophyte devotee, you know. They just go back to the ocean of material birth and death. If they try to hold on both at the same time, we have to do a choice. They have to do a choice. So I wanted to, as usual, now you have the habit. I do my little writing exercise. So, you know, there is there is two different. Ramachandra is grieving for small one. Ramachandra, there is materialistic people who experience separation as well, and there is devotees who experience separation. So grief from the opposite sex. For example, Ramachandra is experiencing grief from Sita Devi because he is actually controlled by the love of his devotees. The materialistic person, they experience grief from the opposite sex, not for the same reason, because they are controlled by lust. But no, what about the devotees? Do you remember in Bhagavatam some part of a devotee grieving for being separated from the opposite sex? Like Lord Ramachandra, like he has lost his wife. Similarly, in the Bhagavatam, some devotees, they actually miss their lost wife. You remember? Yes, even though I will call him a pious person,
Yeah.
I will put him rather in the middle category, you know. Yes. Actually, Shiva, you know. Shiva is grieving for his lost departed wife, Sita Devi, isn't it? Sati. But it's not because of his control really by her love, and to such an extent, yes, we can say that, not so much by lust, but it's mostly because he's controlled by compassion. You know, there is other examples that devotees, they may grieve for women not out of lust, but mostly because they are compassionate. You remember in Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna saying that all the women will become polluted if I'm acting sinfully. Then he starts to be compassionate to women. Similarly, in the first canto of the Bhagavatam, Yudhishthir starts to complain about the war of Kurukshetra. I'm the king now, but I hear every day the complaints of the widows. They are crying so loudly, and I feel guilty about that. I'm grieving for that. And he was totally desperate because of that. So it's not that devotee, they are insensitive toward the opposite sex. It's actually fanaticism, and it can makes our heart very, very dry. So just on the topic of compassion, you know, there is two types of compassion. There is one who is for the body, obviously, and one who is for the soul. But the two extremes are only for the body, okay, and only for the soul. So sorry for my artistic writing, you can say. So, you know, we have to find a balance. How we can deal with each other, the opposite sex. If I'm compassionate only for the body, then I become like Prahlad Maharaj would say, you know, I become spiritually blind and ignorant, and I become, I'm like in this verse today who says, I'm always fearful. I end up taking birth again. So it's not a good plan, for sure. But in Bhagavad Gita, you know, at some point in the beginning, we could think that I should have compassion only for the soul. Because Krishna is saying, Asosyanam Bhatshotsavam, Prajna Vadam Stabhashase, Yatasun Magatasum Cha, Nanushotchiti Pandita, that the wise man, he does not cry for a living person, nor the dead. So you should not lament for what is not worth of lamentation, meaning pollution of the woman, for example. Does that mean that I should become, I should not care about the material condition of others? Does that mean I should be totally oblivious to them? It's not the point of Krishna. The point of Krishna to Arjuna when he says that, he says, you are lamenting only for that. But actually, we should lament for also the condition of the soul. Those people who are on the citizens after the war, if Duryodhana wins, then they will be deprived of the goal of Varnashram Dharma. They will be led by a whimsical, atheist king. And that is dangerous, because spiritual violence is even worse than material violence. If you withdraw spirituality from the life of someone, then basically he does not know where to go, he does not know where does he come from, he does not know what is happiness, he does not know what is love. If you take this, and he does not know how to control his senses to save himself, nor to save others. If you take spirituality out of the picture of someone's life, then he may commit suicide, for example. So it says that according to statistics, religion help to reduce suicide. And people overall in any religion, they feel a sense of belonging and they overcome tragedies more easily. So, but those who are not affiliated to any religion, they are more inclined to commit suicide, to have mental disease, and to not overcome depression and things like that when there is upside down in life. So spiritual violence is really important. So Krishna says to Arjuna, my dear Arjuna, you have to also take in account the violence that Duryodhana and his father Dhritarashtra, they do against Krishna, against Dharma, Sanatan Dharma, and so on. You cannot just, mourn about the body. So the point of Krishna is that when he says Ashwashanam Vachosasva, you just lament for the body. That does not mean that you should never lament for the body. It means you should not only lament for the body. Because never lamenting for the body means we can become really dry. We can become like the priest, the yogic priest in the 10th canto, There is some gopas, they are sent by Krishna, and they are just like, no, God only, God only. And the gopas, they ask for some donation, please, we are hungry, or Krishna is sending us, what I care for your body, just let me worship the Lord. So, this is the situation that we have to be sensitive at all levels of life, for the body of others, and not only for their soul. Otherwise, the picture is not complete. And this is proved by the Shastra in Bhagavad Gita 5.25. It's called Labante Brahmanyarvanam Rishakshina Kalmasa Chinadveda Yatatmana Sarvabhuta Iterata. That those who want to actually attain spiritual life perfection, Labante Brahmanyarvanam, then they should be endeavoring introspective, yatatmana, they should really endeavoring for spiritual life. But at the same time, sarvabhuta iterata, they should be compassionate and act for the welfare of every living entities. So, Bharat Maharaj, for example, was such attentive even to ants. So that's part of our spiritual tradition, to be concerned about the soul, but also not neglect the body to the point of being violent. So the middle path is Bhagavad Gita 5.25. You take care of both, So now on the topic of separation, because because this is our topic, you know. Ramachandra is there, he has lost his wife, and as well, it says in the verse that attraction between man and woman cause always fear. Why? Because Prabhupada says in the purport, because there is death. We fear to be separated. And for the spiritualist, we fear to slack in our spiritual life and to take birth again. For materialist, we fear death. We fear to lose our precious partner. So, you know, in Sanskrit, vipralamba is a two-word compound. It's actually like that.
Toward what?
Two words compound, you know, in the association of two words. So vipra is actually distance. It's one of the Sanskrit definition of vipra. Distance. Not in the sense of knowledgeable. Distance, and lamba is attainment. Okay? Hey. So, you know, there is, in this world, there is a way to be materially feeling vipralamba in the Sanskrit term, to feel at, I have attained you at distance. Do you have any idea how can I attain someone at distance in this material world? I can feel vipralamba. You going for cities, huh? Yes. But I mean more practically. Yeah, for yantra, basically all the machines, you know, you can attain someone at distance, isn't it?
Okay.
Like that. So we have a fake vipralamba, you know, by yantra. Maybe in the future years we can have artificial intelligence and have a virtual reality to meet each other in 3D, you know, by computer. It could, I think it's coming, you know, so we should not even doubting that. So we can meet each other at distance. But this is separation which still produces misery. And I will explain why. On the opposite, there is vipralamba, but spiritual separation. And we meet because of bhakti. The potency of bhakti, like Sbaya Mepas Puratiyada. Because Krishna is everywhere, Krishna is not limited by time and space, so the experience of bhakti can make that Krishna arrange a meeting even though far apart. So that's by the potency of bhakti. So in this way, it says it produces love and happiness. So why is material separation produce miseries and why is spiritual separation produce happiness? It says that when Krishna says to the gopis, he says, Dham tu sakyo bhajato pijantum bhajamiya nishamanuvritti vritai yathadhano labdhed vinashte tanchitan yayan nibrito naveda. I do not always reciprocate with your devotion. Meaning, I'm sometimes organizing separation. Why? Because yatadano labdane vinashte. Because when someone obtains wealth, then tanchitan yayan nibrito naveda. If he lost it, then after he's only thinking about that. And Krishna organizes separation so that we can increase our relationship with Him, our remembrance, our determination, the intensity of our relationship. And it is said that in the In the Brihad Bhagavatamrita it says, Katanchana smaranam eva tesham eveitat jivanam dhanameva. Tesham yato vismaranam kadachit pranadikanam maranachtanindhyam. That when you think about someone, and that person, that someone is so great, someone that is dear to you, then it's comparable to have life injected in your body. When you think about someone who is dear to you, it's like giving life to you. But if you forget someone who is dear to you, it's worse than death, the verse says. Why? Because when you think about someone who is great, then you remember all his qualities, you remember all the nice moments you have spent with him. And that means you are like in the best part of your life with the best person. And what to speak about Krishna, because he can manifest himself when we think about him. He can manifest within. But let's say that now I'm living and I forgot all my friends, my parents, because I'm so much preoccupied by myself. Then it's called ungratefulness. If I live a life of ungratefulness, then I die miserably, because nobody will remember me and nobody will support me. And I will have a difficulty, I will have to face it alone. And if I am ungrateful, I cannot remember the qualities of others. Therefore, I have no good remembrance in my life. All the good moments I had, I forgot, because I'm ungrateful. So the verse says, remembering someone who is dear to us makes life good. But if you forget someone who is dear to you, it's worse than dying alone, miserably. So remembrance of one who is dear to us is important. And bhakti is stimulated by separation. Krishna runs that, so our remembrance of him increases. By doing so, then we remember how much Krishna is wonderful, and by doing so we are becoming more enthusiastic and more energized. But separation in the material world is separation from someone who is fallible. That means they will forget us. If the separation is too long, they will forget us, or they may go somewhere else, and it will decrease. And not only that, but it's temporary, temporary. Death is there. So even though we may build such a nice relationship, we will at some point be further apart. So there will be miseries. So separation in this material world is bringing only miseries. Because we invest in people who are fallible, in temporary relationship, and it's also limited. Limited in the sense that punat shavita chavanana. We always choose what is true. We always say about the same thing. How is the weather today? Are you okay? Do you feel nice? And at some point, you want to go more intimately and more deep than that, but the person is not able to do that. Simply, the relationship stays limited, superficial. And you understand that, okay, I have sex, but what after that? What is the relationship going on? Where does it lead me to? So I may build my house, I may build a nice family, have children and grandchildren. Then at the end, they are still fallible, it's still temporary, it's still limited. But Krishna is infallible. He never forgets you, even when you forget him. And relationship is eternal. So even time and space cannot, destroy that relationship. Even if he's not there, I just have to simply chant his name. And the name of Krishna is like, Aladdin. Aladdin, he has a lamp. He has a lamp, and you just scrub a little bit the lamp, and then the jinn comes out and says, okay, what do you want? And the holy name of Krishna is like that. Anywhere you chant, then you rub the lamp, and then Krishna says, okay, what do you want? So at any moment it's possible to be interacting with him, and actually the relationship is infinite. So actually when you are separated from Krishna, then it increases the pastimes. Something unfolds. It increases our attraction to him, the intensity, because Krishna can manifest there in our thoughts. And Krishna has so many wonderful qualities that we can never know him in full. Someone who says, I know Krishna, is a fool, because Krishna cannot be known in full. So in this way, we may know each other to some extent. When a material relationship happens, I may be bored of someone, but it's difficult, more difficult, at least we can say, for conditioned souls to be bored of Krishna. So that's why, you see, Vipralambha in this material world brings misery. Vipralambha in this world is actually also filled with happiness, because we attain Krishna from a distance. But when we attain someone at a distance in this material world by, calling on the phone, is not manifesting in our heart. The relation is still maybe subtle to a certain extent, but cannot be infallible, eternal, and infinite. So that's all I wanted to say. Sorry for being over time. I hope you appreciate those thoughts. And if you have any queries, please do so. Otherwise, Prasadani is hot, and I don't want to deprive you from the mercy of their lordships. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Yes, we spoke about compassion, relationship with the opposite sex, and separation. So, Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai, Radha Chandra Sita Devi ki Jai, Jai Gaur Premanande,
REVATINANDANA Prabhu ki
Jai.
Jai Prabhupada.
Yes.